Well, well, well. That got out of hand. Not only did we lose to the Giants, we low key got blown out. Let's talk about it. Welcome in and welcome back to the Down South Philly show, brought to you by the Sports Lounge Media. How you feeling today? What's good, Outdoor Creations? How we feeling? We took one on the chin, man. So if you somehow missed it, we kicked off week 6 Thursday night football against a very familiar opponent in the New York Football Giants. That's right. So going into this game, obviously we haven't been clicking on all cylinders as of yet. Can't really play like a consistent 4 quarters of football, and it finally caught up with us. We ran into a team that just didn't let us get away with the stuff we've been getting away with for the whole season so far. So what are some of the things that caused us to lose this game? One, offense, right? So actually we come out the gate. I think it kind of appears that we got the run game fixed a little bit. We rip off 2 nice runs with Saquon. I'm like, okay, so this is what it's supposed to look like. Maybe we got our mojo back. We eventually get to a point where the drive stalls, but we kick the field goal. Um, so I'm thinking, hey, it's a nice start. I take the 3. Um, we should be able to have a good night. And then the Giants commenced to score back-to-back touchdowns on their drives, and for whatever reason, we just couldn't get out of our own way. We looked lethargic. Um, Offense really couldn't get any kind of rhythm, and then defensively, it's like Jackson Dart just killed us on third downs. Like the back-breaking conversions that we had, um, we just couldn't get off the field. Like it just seemed like every third down for we couldn't stay in our rush lanes, and we let Jake Jackson Dart out the back door again and again and again. And ultimately, that ended up being our downfall because we got to a place where, as the lesser team, they want to keep the game close. So it was close. Then we started to press a little bit. And when you start to press and get out of character, AJ Dillon, they forced a fumble on him. Uh, when it seemed like we might have got something figured out and got some continuity, here comes Jalen Hurts, throwing throwing the interception to Flat, which basically seals the game in a nutshell. It wasn't quite a pick six, but they score on the drive, so technically in my book it is. I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts, although it was a bad pick. He was going to throw a pick at some point. It was the first pick that he's thrown in over 300 attempts. So I'm not worried about the quarterback position. Obviously, the offensive coordinator and the offensive flow of the game continue to be a concern. We've seen flashes over the past 3 weeks of things getting better, but it's just not where we want it to be yet. So, like I said, we finally ran up against a team that didn't let us get away with the stuff we've been getting away with off of just pure talent. So we were kind of out coached. We didn't show up with the energy to win that game, and we ended up getting embarrassed, man. So when we talk about the numbers part of it, the Giants had a total of 366 yards. We had a total of 339, which actually wasn't terrible. When you talk about penalties, penalties actually wasn't bad for us at all. We only had 4 for 46 yards. Giants actually got more there were more accepted penalties on the Giants. They got 6 for 55 yards. We did lose time of possession by about a minute, 29 to 30 minutes, which isn't too terrible when unless you think about the fact that we also, with us not being able to get off the field on third down, Scatterbo had a day. Scatterbo had a day. 3 touchdowns, almost 100 yards on the ground himself. Ran through a couple of our players. It was just a rough night for the it was a rough night for the Eagles, man. It was very humbling yet again. You never really expected for this team to blow them out because we just haven't been that team. We haven't been a team to blow anybody out all season. So why would we just flip the switch all of a sudden? Um, but with that being said, Hurts actually had a pretty good day um, throwing the ball. So he went for 24 for 33, 283 yards with 1 touchdown and the back-breaking interception. Saquon had a decent day, but still not what we expected him to have. 12 carries, 58 yards, with the 18 yard run, which was the longest run of the day for him, which also was on the first drive of the game. So really, outside of the first drive of the game, we didn't really do much of anything on the ground again. When it came to receiving, Dallas Goedert has quietly been 40-46. What we talking about, Cheppy? Was 44? Was 644? Um, when we talk about Dallas Goedert in particular, he's actually been having a decent season so far. So he had a really good night, 9 catches, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. AJ Brown had 6 catches for 80 yards. Devontae Smith, 4 catches for 49 yards. AJ Dillon, 2 for 18, and Jahad Dotson, 1 for 17. Saquon joined in, 2 catches for 9 yards. So the story of Jackson Dart, he went 17 of 25 for 195 yards and a touchdown. Now, on its surface, if you're just looking at those numbers, it doesn't sound like he had this amazing day, but the story of the day was the third down conversions. That actually was picked up with his legs. Now, through the air, we got abused too because Keely Ringo was terrible, atrocious. And then when you think about Adoree Jackson, he wasn't much better. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, they had a night. Dart and Scatterbull had a night. I would say that this was kind of like a coming out party for him. If you weren't familiar with Scatterbull and Jackson Dart, they became a fan favorite. Scatterboo ran through several of our defenders, one of which was on the goal line. Specifically, Adoree Jackson just seemed like he didn't want no smoke. He didn't. He turned down the opportunity to at least stick his nose in there, and Cam went and he got in the end zone 3 times. Um, when we talk about Ringo, though, they it just seemed like the effort wasn't even there. Um, it was one play in particular where he was covering Wandale Robinson. He lets him catch the ball, and then it's just like he gives up on the play. So Wandale gets up and gets like 4 to 6 more yards on the play, and you just can't have that. So it's one thing if you are going full speed and your best isn't good enough, but when you out there loafing, and getting beat, it just looks that much worse. So it just ended up being an embarrassing night for the Eagles. Giants sack Hurts 3 times. Of course, I mentioned the big interception Jalen Hurts threw to Cordell. Cordell Flott, which was returned for about 68 yards, and ultimately led to a touchdown. So in a way, it was kind of a pick six, kind of sorta. But it already sucks to lose to the Giants as an Eagles fan, because what we expect out of this season, being a defending champs, you kind of felt like it was one of those. This was an excellent opportunity to kind of shake the cobwebs off, if you will. We were kind of like in this fog first month of the season, the first 5 weeks of the season, really, where we just couldn't put together a solid 4 quarter game. We've been able to have flashes for a half. We've been able to have flashes for a quarter. We've been able to have flashes for a series. But for whatever reason, we just haven't. We just like we've been stuck in the mud. KP has definitely left something to be desired. It's not all his fault. The the offensive line has been terrible. Came into the season banged up. We talk about it every week. Um, Not on the same page with AJ. The connection between Smitty and Hurts is excellent. The connection between Hurts and Goddard, Hurts and Dotson, pretty much everybody but AJ is A1 right now, and there's a reason for that. AJ missed the majority, if not all, of camp with the hamstring. So Hurts was able to get the reps with the rest of the team, and it's shown through 6 weeks that that connection is where it is now. It is getting there. AJ is starting to. The targets was always there, but he's starting to get his numbers now. Oddly enough, the past 2 weeks Hurts has thrown for over 200 yards, but they've been in losing fashion. So again, when we talk about what do you prefer? Do you prefer for him to get his numbers, or do you want to win the game? Give me the win. Give me the dub. That's really what I care when it comes to winning football games. And I never cared about the stat pattern or anything like that. So give me the dub. Y'all can have the stats. And these two games in particular kind of paint the picture of what you could have if wanted Hurts to have a 4,000-yard passing season. That's what it could look like, because obviously when you put the ball in the air more, you put the ball in harm's way more. What's good, Don?
You
Hey man, we got to talk about this game. Give me your thoughts on everything, how it went,
the
some things
oh Giants game.
about the Giants game before we flush it.
All right, thoughts on the Giants game. Man, we went in there, caught a L, and it is what it is. To me, we came in that game with no, just from the jump. I feel like we came in there with no energy. Um, we never really come into a game like that, so I'm only led to believe that came from it being a short week. I kind of feel like just me trying to put some pieces together. It's just me kind of feel like boom, we coming off because y'all know we rarely take L's back to back, and whenever we do take a L, we usually respond in like good fashion. So I think it kind of just bit us. It kind of just bit us that we took a L going into a short week, and I just feel like everybody probably not only already needed rest, but probably tried to exhaust all measures to get the W, and probably burnt themselves out during the week. And it just led us to go into the game with no energy, and not only that, we already had a lot of injuries. So I think it just got exploited in that game. Like I said, it was we had no life, no energy. And the Giants did, because they didn't have nothing to lose. They didn't have nothing to lose. I mean, it don't matter to them that it was a short weekend. They was coming off or whatever, because they already used to that. So they just doing what they normally do. So you know what I'm saying, it was the same type of week for them, other than it being a short week. But um Hurts ended up throwing an interception in that game. I wasn't really tripping on that. Now I know if you, excuse me, go back and look at the replay, they were saying that AJ was open in the end zone, which it looked like he was, but I don't know. At the end of the day, quarterbacks don't always see every open receiver. We see every game, no matter who the quarterback is. They don't see everything that we see. We didn't even see it until somebody went back on the film and was like, AJ was open. And like nobody saw that. He didn't see it. We didn't see it. Um, so that happens every game to every quarterback. You gonna have somebody open you don't see. It's too much other stuff going on, and you going through certain progressions or whatever. You're not even looking at that part of the field at that time. So I never really be too mad about stuff like that. Um, Defense, man, Keely Ringo was out there getting barbecued. To me, he was one of the main reasons because it's like, no, I know every team, like the team that we had last year, just seemed like it was no weaknesses. Defensively, it was like no weaknesses, like that you could just individually exploit. This year it is, and we got rookies out there that could be taken advantage of. They're gonna make plays and they're gonna get taken advantage of as well. And then we got Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson holding up that other corner spot. So it's kind of like that's the matchup teams can exploit or try to exploit. So it's definitely gonna look different from last year. So I feel like not only did we have no energy, but when you come out there and one now we not even getting a pass rush. Carter didn't play. Not that he would have made a difference anyway, because he been hurt. And I didn't want him to play that game anyway, so I'm glad they sat him. I hope he don't even play this next game. Um, Same thing with Landon Dickerson. But anyway, and they just kind of went at the matchup they should exploit Keely Ringo. And then that's whenever they was passing the ball. So then when you go to what I felt like what else hurt us was now a lot of people are gonna try to point to Scatterboo, but I feel like they just kind of like he was getting off right there at the end. Game was kind of already out of hand. Um, Now he did make a couple plays during the game, but I don't feel like there was a difference in the game. I feel like the difference in the game was them going at Keely Ringo and them keeping drives alive with Dart's leg on a lot of big third down situations. I mean, we can't be helping them out by getting penalties in situations where we could have got them out the field. So it was a lot of that. A lot of either penalty messing us up or Dart just jumping out the window and picking up third downs and stuff like keeping drives alive with his leg. Usually what we do with Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I always believe we'll be better for it, especially this early in the season. We got that Thursday night game out of the way. The only thing I really don't like about it is that it came to the Giants at the hands of the Giants, and that's only because they're in our division. I'm not one to really because I know a lot of people be mad when you lose to certain teams because they feel like that team is inferior. It's a bad team. I don't really care about that because good teams lose to bad teams all the time. It's nothing new, so I ain't tripping on that. I'm only tripping because it's a division opponent, and that hurt you more record wise. I'm not tripping on it to the Giants because they a bad team, because that's how people feel even going into the game. I know there's a lot of people saying, yeah, we better go in here and dump a mud hole on the Giants because we coming off that L to the Broncos, blah blah blah. Man, look, I already knew going into the game, and I say this all the time, it's a possibility we lose the game. Like, I ain't even tripping that it was to the Giants, other than it hurt us more. You know what I'm saying? But and how I take my L's is a L is an L. I don't care what it look like. I ain't trying to look good in a L. So it really don't matter to me. It's the same with a W. I don't care how we get a W long as we get it. Now we taking the L, we taking the L to me. Whether we get blown out or we lose by one. It's a L. We about to go, it's about to go on our record the same way. So I'm never tripping on that. Um and like I said, it's to the Giants, a team in our division. That was the only thing that got me about that. But um, I let it go with me. Look, we moving on to the Vikings. So and it was we got a long rest period, so we got a lot of guys that got some rest. I don't know if we getting anybody back, but I feel like the guys that we do have, they got some good rest. I know excuse me, I know Fangio and the rest of the coaches, Nick, they got in the lab and probably tried to correct some things. What I do like about it is we're in a situation where we get also getting ready to go into a bye week after these next two games. So I feel like this just get us a little leeway to go into the bye week to start, changing up some things and seeing what we're doing wrong and what we can do better and what this team is good at. I feel like the coaches are still learning this team, still learning their personnel. We got a first time offensive coordinator. A lot of people, what's funny is, of course, a lot of people are going to be comparing this team to the 2023 team. In my opinion, just because of the field, not because of what actually happened. Because if you look at the 2023 team, that team defense was bad. This team, we don't have a good offensive. We got the good personnel, but we don't have a good scheme. This phone keep on, dog. We don't have a good scheme. So, good play calling, shall I say? But it's still early in the season. It's too early in the season for me. I know a lot of people like, man, fire. First of all, the fire Patulo people. I mean, fire them and do what? Like nobody ain't even got no other plan. Cause whatever they do, and that don't work, y'all gonna be mad at that. Ah, y'all, you should have did this. Well, Kevin Patulo start getting off, y'all gonna love him, just like y'all did last year with Kellen Moore when we went 2-2. People forgot y'all was mad at Kellen Moore last year. We went 2-2. Y'all was ready. Hey, Kellen Moore, you got to get up out of here. People too impatient. To me, I'll probably start looking at Kevin Patula. I mean, I'm looking at him crazy now, but I'll probably start feeling some type of way about him. Maybe after like the 2 games after the bye week. If you ain't getting it in by then, it's like, all right, this is what you gonna be. Um, but we gotta give him some time to change that up and see what he good at and get chemistry with the offense and time for it to show up. So and I always say the first 4 games of the season is like our preseason anyway. So um to me, probably like after we play Detroit somewhere around in there, I see how I feel about Kevin Pentulo. But as of right now, it's been bad play calling. But like I said, going into the season, like, we said it was gonna be growing pains. What I don't like about it is we will say that, and then as soon as we start having some growing pains, people act like the sky falling. No, we knew what was gonna happen with a new offensive coordinator. And a lot of people are trying to look at teams like what you got to understand is every team and every situation is different. Because team people will look at Detroit and be like, "Well, they got a new offensive coordinator." Well, that's their situation. Just because new offensive coordinator situation might be working out, don't mean ours will. This is a difference. Um, but I ain't really tripping. Like I said, I want to see. Hopefully, we go ahead and win these next 2 games, go into the bye week, and we'll be smooth sailing after that. But as far as the Giants game, man, we kind of got to just flush that and move on. Like I said, a lot of people people don't know what they mad at. Some people mad at Hurts. I've been seeing people talking about put the backup Tanner McKee, put Tanner McKee. Man, look, we ain't been getting no good offensive line play. Um, that's another thing that's killing us. Bad offensive line play. Okay, defensive line play. This is not the defensive line from last year. As far as I'm not talking about personnel, but I'm just saying as far as last year, we could throw four guys was rushing into that was allowing the back end to do different things. So even Fangio is having to find other ways to do certain things with the defense. But I think it all work out in the end. Like I said, going into the season, the biggest thing that was gonna hold us back this year is offensive coordinator. But I said the biggest thing, I said the biggest thing is gonna be injuries. Then like I said, like maybe like offensive coordinator. We don't know we get on the offensive coordinator, but other than that, it's injuries. Because even if we have everything that we need, if we don't got the guys out there on the field that can get it done due to injuries. Because I feel like outside of injuries, we do have those guys. Now we don't have a cornerback too, but I mean teams have went on to win Super Bowls. They didn't have an invincible defense, so I'm not worried about that. But we'll be all right.
Hey, it's a lot of talk and speculation and really just wishful thinking right now that if by some crazy uh imagination, Dolphins lose their head coach Mike McDaniels, he could just slide on into the offensive coordinator role here, and we keep on trucking. How you feel about that?
I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's that easy. Um, because you talking about a man that been with another team. The only reason, the only way, the only thing I can see with that is you bringing him in now because he definitely not gonna come in and just be the offensive coordinator.
Right. Maybe
Hell
a
nah.
consultant.
Only thing I can see is you bring him in as an offensive consultant, and you only doing that because you want him to be here for next year, and you just want to go ahead and get him in the building. Now, to me,
Mhm.
that's a smarter move. All right, we just need to get you a title. In our mind, look, we bringing you into the building. You can see what's going on with the offense. You can get with Kevin Batullo. Hey, y'all can do what y'all need to do with what we already got, with the playbook we already got. See what y'all can do. You might can add a little razzle dazzle on that where you need to do a little motion right here, play calling. He might know how to call plays, sequence play calls in a better order. He can help Kevin Patullo with that and just get us through the rest of the season and be in line to be the offensive coordinator for next year. Now I'm cool with that, but as far as fire Kevin Patullo, bring McDaniels in here and think something gonna happen, nah, y'all just gonna be mad. It's gonna be it's gonna be crazy. The offense probably gonna be worse than it already is. Like just like when we did the same thing with the defense when we let I don't think people understand chemistry, practice. Which is the whole reason why we have OTAs and all these all season stuff, bro. It's a reason. Like you can't just throw an offense together. People think just because we got AJ Brown, Smitty, a good offensive line. Mind you, I said we haven't been having good offensive line play all year. This is not the same team so far this year from last year. We kind of in certain areas and certain patches we seen flashes, but we've been on the struggle bus a little bit, and it ain't just like a one person thing. It's like everybody. Now I don't know if it's all stemming from play calling or what, but it's a lot of things we need to clean up, and I don't think just bringing offensive coordinator in here is going to necessarily fix anything. But I do kind of like the mindset of all right, looking at the landscape or what's going on. Would we like to bring Mike McDaniels in here next year? If they say yeah, then let's get him in the building now before somebody else get him. Now, if you looking at the landscape of the land, it's like, man, it's probably some other guys we can get out here, and then you don't want to do it. All right, cool. But if you feel like you if you feel like you want him to be the guy next year, hey, go ahead and bring him in. I don't got no smoke with McDaniels. He'll any offensive play caller that's already
Jesus.
certified. Bring them in here. I don't really care who it is because I feel like Hurt's gonna get off with anybody who already know what they're doing. But when you start bringing new guys in that this their first time, nah, we no more of them. But I feel like anybody who already established, like you said, season already great play callers, already been in certain situations. Because you talk about a man who been an offensive coordinator, he been a head coach. And you bring him in this type of role, man, he might be here for a year or two. Hurts take him to a Super Bowl. Now we go to a Super Bowl, he probably get a he probably might I don't know. Well, I don't know. He coming off of liquor, so people might not he might stay for 2 years. Just you know what I'm saying? But um I would bring him in in that type of way if that's the guy that they want. Like I said, to me it don't matter as long as we get somebody who been calling the plays. But to me for this year it don't necessarily matter. Like I said, bring them in and help consult with the offense. Um or you could bring them in, help them consult with the offense, and then if you see an opportunity in and after the season to get somebody else, get them. So we could do that. But as far as just firing Patulo and bringing him or anybody else in new, I think that would be malpractice on everybody in the Eagles organization from top to bottom. So and y'all will just
Well,
be mad at that because it didn't work out. Why would we bring somebody in? Blah, blah, blah. Nick fixed man, bruh. Y'all be putting too much on what y'all think Nick can and can't do. Y'all don't even really know. People don't even really be knowing the what's going on inside the building. Y'all just people go off what they think going on and just be fussing about nothing. Hey, calm down, man, and enjoy the ride.
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we just in a position where we got to be patient. We got to ride this thing on out. We got these 2 games before the bye, and then we got maybe a game or two after the bye to see if the whatever they change during the bye is gonna work. And then, even after that point, it ain't like we got a whole bunch of options. We basically stuck with the offense that we're gonna have for the year. Like you said, that's the reason for OTAs is to implement and install a offense, and then during the season is when you work out the kinks and hopefully start firing on all cylinders. So hopefully, Patullo is at least the guy for this year. Like you said, it's not we can't 100% blame it all on him, whether it be the offensive line or not being on the same page with AJ or whatever else is wrong with the offense right now. It's everybody really, in my opinion. Um, everybody had a hand in it, so it's gonna take everybody to fix it. So hopefully, we can win these next 2 games, go ahead and make our corrections in the bye, and come out the bye, as close to what we want to look like as we gonna be for the rest of the season. So that remains to be seen. But had to turn the page on that game. We done with that one. That game over with. And to be honest, it stings a whole lot less when everybody else in the division and in the conference took the L's that we needed them to take. So when you think about Washington, who was right on our heels, they if they beat the Bears, they actually would be in first place, technically, because we took the division loss. But they folded. They lost to the Bears. Dallas, they got beat by the Panthers, so that helped us out. It wasn't like they was gonna be in first place if they won, but they would have been able to close the gap a little bit. So they wasn't able to do it. The Lions took an L against the Chiefs, which we appreciate. Um, and the 49ers. The 49ers was 4-1 as well. And they went up against the Bucks. So the Bucks was the only ones that kind of escaped, but they are lesser of the two evils because we at least beat the Bucks. So we had to deal with that later. All we got to do is really win more games than the Bucks, or just keep pace with them. All we gotta do is keep pace with the Bucks, and that'll take care of itself because we do hold the head to head over them as well. But before we get into the preview, we got to talk about this breaking news, man. My boy Zadarius Smith decided to hang him up. So we he came in like what, week 2, I think, or leading up to week 2, whatever. Obviously he's been one of those mercenaries around the league, kind of like a Clowney, where you just you hire him for his services at the pass rushing position for about a year, and he gonna give you that 8 to 10 sacks per year. He actually had great impact with us. I liked his mindset. Did very well when it came to his interviews. Definitely got pressure for us. He actually ended up getting like a sack and a half in his short time with the Birds. But I wish him the best of luck. It leaves a hole which was already not a strong suit of ours in the pass rush lane. So obviously um we had already lost Nolan Smith to IR. He won't be back until after the bye. Um and we just wasn't really too strong in the position after what we thought would be a loaded room. We do have the bodies there, so we still got Josh Uche, we still got Azeez Ojulari, we still got Hunt, Jalix Hunt, and we did talk about Nolan being hurt, but we will get him back at some point in the season. But give me your thoughts on Smith leaving.
Oh man, my dog was balling.
Yeah,
Hey, I was thinking like, hey, I was like, shoot, Darius and Ojulari, hey, they look like they were starting to cook. Ojulari's still here, so he probably do his thing. But He was looking like he was getting better every game, gelling with the
Mhm.
defense, making plays, working well with the guys. I'm sure he was probably teaching them some things, the young guys, young bucks. But hey, it is what it is, man. We don't really know what was going on behind the scenes. All people can really do is speculate. But like you said, all we can do is like wish him well. I would have loved to see him, for the rest of the season. But it could have been anything. Now he getting into a position because you came in, you really just was coming in for a few snaps. Now it's like every week somebody going down, so my boy got to take more and more snaps. He probably like, damn, I was coming in here trying to damn, just come in and get a couple of snaps, be a rotation piece. I'm becoming the main guy. God damn. Like, hey, I ain't signed up for this. He a little bit older too. So and not only he's a little bit older too, boom, we took two L's back to back. Like, man, and they want damn, I had to be the right. This guy hurt, this guy got hurt. God damn, what going on? And then the Philly media, oh, and then you know what I'm saying? So
Fans.
and he said, yeah, the Philly media, the fans, and he sound like, just from him, even him talking, he sound like, hey, this is a team I can go get a ring with. And maybe he was just like, I don't know, bro, there's too much going on. Not only did we take two L's, but then it's people getting hurt. But they counting on me probably to be the guy. This is a lot to learn and do in this defense. Cause I told you before when I thought he wasn't gonna start the first game, I was like, Fangio asked a lot out of those people in that position. Um, so I was wondering was he gonna play or not. So um but yeah, like you said, he gone now. We don't like you said, like I said, I don't know what the reason was. It could have been, anything. Um it's it is what it is. He gone. Like you said, wish him well. I wish he could have played the rest of the season, but so long, my boy, and you will still get, for being on the team, you will still get a ring. I don't know how you will feel about it personally, but they send you one in the mail.
Yeah, yeah. We just obviously it's got a lot of Eagles fans wanting to pull the trigger on the pass rusher, which they was already
Yeah, they
pretty
was
much
already on that.
screaming. They were screaming that before he left, but definitely it's kind of turned up a little bit. I know one name that they have been throwing out there was Chubb, Bradley Chubb from the Dolphins. I don't know
Hmm.
how realistic that is. Obviously, adding somebody like that to the team, he already played under Fangio at some point. I would welcome it.
Yeah, me too.
But I really don't know the specifics of what it would take to get him here. I know he had just got a bag, so we do have to consider potentially taking on his salary, whatever that is. Uh, really, but when it comes to me, even over pass rusher, I know we probably do need to add somebody of that caliber, or maybe a tier under. But I really just want a DB, man. We need a cornerback, a vet that we can get up in here and just provide some stability. We don't really necessarily need you to be locked down, but we just need you to be able to provide effort and play some good ball for us, and more importantly, tackle. That's one thing that you can get off the bus. If you either a tackler or you not. And right now, that's something that we lacking outside of Q, outside of Coop when it comes to the cornerback position. Ain't nobody coming down here and sticking nothing. They just kind of timid, and it kind of reared its ugly head yet again against the Giants, and we got punked a little bit. So if I had my choice of what we should go after, I would say cornerback. How you feel about that?
Yeah, same with me. I mean, if we had to pick one, of course we need both. We all know that.
Mhm.
But if I had to pick, because I feel like there's so much stuff we can do as far as getting pressure on the quarterback. We already got great guys who've been getting there. They just haven't really like either got all the way to the quarterback or they just didn't finish when they got there. So I feel like we kind of better in that situation than we are at cornerback. So if I had to choose one or the other, I'm going cornerback. But if we can get both, hey, I'm taking both. I ain't going. If I can go to a restaurant and get two entrees, I'm getting both of them. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a situation where Harry got to pick one, hey, get us a cornerback, dog. Get us a cornerback, and you putting everybody else at ease because now, uh, let me get Denzel Ward. Let me get Let me get a Gunzo from the Patriots. If it come down to it, I'll take Sauce from the Jets. I know people feeling some type of way about him, but he better than Dory Jackson and doggone Keely Ringo. So I'll take Sauce. I'll take Gunzo. I'll take Denzel Ward. That's probably my first option. Then probably between Denzel and Gunzo. I like Gunzo because he a young guy, so I'll take him for sure. That's probably 1A and 1B for me. Them two guys. I'm sure there's some more guys around the league I ain't really thinking about, but I know those guys are great players or good players, and they in situations where they team's trash and they'll be willing to get off those guys. So I'll take any of those players. And as far as like somebody on the defensive line or edge player or whatever, like I said, if Howie feel like he can make the numbers work or he got the means to get them, go. Hey, I ain't gonna turn it down. I just know, and it seems like this whole off season since the end of last year, they kind of been prepping for preparation to pay Jalen Carter and maybe a couple of other people. So I know that's in the back of their mind as well. Like that ain't got nothing to do with me or how we can make the numbers work. I ain't here to count his pocket. He feel like he can do what he need to do and get certain people in here who already got a bag or probably be in position to get a bag as well. Hey, do what you do, Howard. That ain't for me to figure out. You bring him in here. I'm not gonna be one of them people. What he doing? He gotta pay Jalen. Bro, look, he gonna obviously he got a plan. I'm not here to try to figure out his job for him, but if he can get both positions, hey, I'm cool with it. Cause you like I said, the thing about this season is injury. So even if we bring in new people in, it's still gonna be other people that get hurt, and we already thin at a lot of positions. Corner is one of them. So we definitely need to get not only do we got bad corners, but we got we thin. So I'll definitely take a cornerback in here for sure. Somebody that's gonna pair well with Quinion. The Quinion can stay on one side of the field because you bring in a Denzel Ward, Quinion ain't gotta travel no more. You bring in Gonzo, Quinion ain't gotta travel no more. You bring in Sauce, Quinion ain't gotta travel no more. So I mean, let's get it. Get us a corner in here, Howie.
Yeah, I take any of them guys for sure. Or like I said, not even necessarily that tier. It could be the tier right under. We just need better than what we've been getting. That experiment is kind of wearing thin. I think we pretty much seen what we gonna get out of both Ringo and Adora Jackson. It ain't gonna be too much better out of them. So really, we need to go ahead and plug up the CB2 position so we can go on this run. And like you said, if we can get a pass rusher in the process, I won't turn it down. But before we get to the meat and potatoes, the next matchup, we got a word from our sponsors. Introducing Black Diamond Concentrate from Diamond Collection, a premium mineral supplement crafted to elevate your hydration experience. Formulated with no dyes, sweeteners, or artificial flavors, Black Diamond Concentrate is 100% natural. Just 2 dropfuls added to a 16.9-ounce bottle of water can transform the way you hydrate. Order today at poweredbytmb.com and use code DSP at checkout to receive a 20% discount. That's code DSP. All right, let's get back to the show. Welcome back. Special shout out to the good folks over at the Diamond Collection. So that's an excellent segue into what our greatest fear would be. Um, Ringo or Dory Jackson going up against number 18 in purple. Or Jordan Addison or whoever else they got over there. Cause right now we looking like sweet meat in the village in the secondary. So hopefully we'll have Q, but it's not 100% that we will. And if we don't, oh man, it's open season out there. Especially when you consider the lack of pass rush that we have had so far. So one thing before we even get into speculation on what we will and won't have, I heard that it could be a possibility that we kick Jahad Campbell down to the edge and allow
The Kobe
N'Kobe
Dean.
Dean to make his return at linebacker. Now, I got mixed feelings about that from the standpoint of Dean ain't really played no football in a year. So he gonna be a little rusty, but desperate times call for desperate measures. How you feel about the potential of that being at least a package or a couple plays?
If Fangio with it, I'm with it. Whatever Fangio on, I'm on. Whatever Fangio on, I'm on. I ain't gonna sit on here and act like I know better than Fangio, cause I don't. So if Fangio on it, hey, I'm on it. That's all I really got to say about that. Cause if Fangio don't feel like that's a good idea, he ain't gonna do it. But if and I also understand that soon as we see it the first time, it might not look how the finished product gonna look. This just
Mhm.
game one of them doing it. So I'm not one of them people that's cause soon as they go out there and it don't look right, Fangio need to put Campbell back at. Nah, I already understand. This is game one of this man playing a position he don't normally play. Now we
Mhm.
already have an understanding of we feel like he can play that position and play it well, but that don't mean he gonna do it the first time they put him over there. Give the man a game or two. So, like I said, whatever Fangio on, I'm on. I'm not one of them fans who impatient or expect something to work out the first time they do it. I understand that it's this thing called a process. So, if Fangio on it, I'm on it. Like if Fangio got beef with you, I got beef with you.
Facts. I am excited about the possibility of seeing Dean back out there because last time we saw Dean, he was having a career year. He was getting off, flying all over the field last year. So the possibility of having Dean, Bond, and Campbell on the field at the same time wreaking havoc could be a scary sight. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it's in the cards, but the sound of it at least it sound good. But when we talk about the Vikings in particular, we still don't know for sure if it's gonna be Wentz, is it gonna be McCarthy, is it gonna be somebody we don't even know? Because Wentz got a shoulder injury as well. So um, when we consider the two options that we know and then the one that we don't know, uh, give me your thoughts on the two QB matchups against
uh,
this defense.
I mean, to me, it really don't matter because and I feel like either one of them is gonna come down to defensive line play. If Cause ain't neither one of them going, they ain't no, you know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna just go out here. Now they both can use their legs, but they both ain't really like they ain't no Lamar Jackson.
Right.
Or they, you know what I'm saying? They just, can use their legs whenever they need to. You leave them some space or whatever, but they ain't going, you know what I'm saying? They could get a third down, something like that. But we just came off of letting that go off. We can't do that for another game. So and I don't think neither one of them, they ain't no just, I mean, any quarterback, you get them time in the pocket, they gonna crush you. But they ain't just like no straight up killers. So I feel like if we go in there and have good defensive line play, that's what's gonna make a break whoever they got at quarterback. So I ain't really, to me, it really don't, I don't really, it ain't like I got a preference, like, oh damn, I'm hoping this person play it. Nah, I feel like we could get after both of them. We just gotta get after them. And the other thing to that is not only do we need the D line to get off, but if Quinion Mitchell can't go, then it dang it ain't gonna really matter who bet there because they gonna be barbecue chicken doggone. I'm getting the ball out. This is my game plan. I'm getting the ball out fast. Let's say the defensive line is having a good game. If I'm even if it's early, if I'm doing, I'm switching up the game plan. Matter of fact, I ain't even switching it up. I'm going into it. Look, it's one or two
Whoever on
situations.
7.
Yeah, well, it's one or two situations. Quinion ain't gonna be out there and we can barbecue him with anybody we got, or Quinion gonna be out there and we gonna target this guy. Whether it's gonna be quick game or down the field, gonna depend on what kind of pass rush they got. But we should be able to get what we want all night. And that's the game. If I'm the Vikings personnel, the Vikings fan, I'm looking at it like, they secondary gonna be food because of who at cornerback. So like I said, it's gonna come down to really our defensive line play. And it shouldn't really matter who they got at quarterback.
man. And the other key thing to that is if we don't stop the run game, it ain't gonna matter because that's gonna open up whatever ain't open by just getting beat man to man.
Yeah, that too.
They generally always have uh, a good offensive line, and they know how to move the ball on the ground and through the air. So
Hmm.
if we don't stop one, then they're gonna do both. So we definitely at least need to slow him down a little bit. I do like Madison as a running back. Not sure what if Aaron Jones is out for an extended period of time or if he's gonna play in this game, but we already know what he brings to the table. He always, a threat to make a play, either on the ground or through the air itself. So um, they got weapons. We talked about quarterback, but they got one of the top three guys at wide receiver in Justin Jefferson. They got one of the top three guys in the wide receiver too in Jordan Addison. They got a top tight end in TJ Hawkinson. They got a nice number three in Naylor. They got two capable backs in the backfield in Aaron Jones and Madison. And they got a top offensive line too. So when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, they not hurting for weapons. And Kevin O'Connell knows exactly how to deploy his weapons on the defense. So if you ain't careful, it can be a long night for your defense. I mean, yeah, for your defense. When we switch it around to their defense,
Flores.
yeah, Brian Flores, I like him. He one of the ones that bring pressure. Seasoned defensive coordinator, can be beat. But just in any given Sunday, he can figure you out, and if he do, it's gonna be a long night as well. So the Vikings are a good team. Obviously, we not in the position to look down on anybody, especially coming off of two back-to-back L's. So we need it. Um, I don't remember. Did they win their last game? They just
I think
came
it was
from
on a bye
overseas.
week, right?
They was on a bye week,
Yeah, they
and
had
I
two
can't
OCs
remember.
games. Hell, I think they won both of them. I might be wrong.
I know they played. Well, they definitely didn't beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won.
Oh, they played Pittsburgh the first time.
Yeah, they
Oh,
played
okay.
Pittsburgh, and then
Well,
I don't
I
know.
think they won the second game then.
Okay, so they fresh. They coming off a bye week, so that provides its own challenges. We coming off a mini bye, but we also a little hobbled. So, um, tell me some things that you looking forward to watching in this game, as far
Man,
as impact players. Let's start there. Let's start with who.
first off, who I think gonna be impact players on offense and
Yeah,
defense.
yeah.
What I was about to say was too. I'm interested to see. They got a pretty good defense, so I'm interested to see. With our 10 days off, what we do on offense, especially against a Brian Flores defense. And even on the other side of the ball, when you talk about, to me, it don't really matter which quarterback, but if you want to talk about strength and weaknesses of both, just kind of in general, not getting too detailed. McCarthy is more of a rookie, so we could see him make mistakes if he was out there. And Carson Wentz, he's not a rookie, but he's known for holding on to the ball. So that's something that we could exploit. Just him holding on the ball to, like, we've been right there at the quarterback. So by having a quarterback who gonna hold on to the ball a little bit longer, you probably can see our sacks get up, because most of the guys just either been getting out of sacks or getting it away right when we. So I see flaws in both that we could exploit. But anyway, impact players in the game. um on offense, it's gonna have to be Hurts. It's gonna have to be Hurts. um I don't It's gonna have to be I think this is my first time picking Hurts, but I think just the situation that we in now and the team that we going up against, we're gonna need Hurts making the plays when they're available, and we're gonna need him being smart with the ball. And then as far as defense, we gonna need to. I don't really have like an impact player. On the defensive side of the ball, but I will say we gon' because we don't know what we getting at the cornerback position. We don't know Quinion playing. Of course, Shit, hell, the whole defense, like you said, if you really think about it, they could get off in the run game. Now it ain't like we haven't went up against other teams that present the same situation, but it's kind of like this game. No, we got Quinion now. We got two suspect corners out there. They ain't even suspect. We got two trash corners out there. And then now we depending on see what the safeties can do. We gonna need a defensive line to step up. So man, it's the whole damn defense for real. For real. So I'm gonna have to go with the whole defense. We need y'all to have a defensive game. We need y'all to do what y'all was doing early in the season and keeping the offense in the game. Now the offense could come out and be balling, but whether they balling or not, we need y'all to do y'all thing on defense. So I'm gonna have to go with the whole defense and offensively. I feel like if we have a great game out of Hurts, I'm not necessarily saying stat wise, but if we have him being smart with the ball, getting it to the guys that's open, keeping the chains moving, not taking no sacks, and not putting the ball in harm's way. Uh, I think we'll be in a position to come out of this thing with another W and start to get the ship back on track.
Yeah. Um, I gotta agree with you there. It's really it it's some unknowns that we still not sure about from whether who gon' is Q gonna suit up. Are we getting Landon Dickinson back? Are they gonna try Jalen Carter back out there? So it's some things that we still not sure about. Even if we do make any kind of move for, a new cornerback, a new pass rusher, I doubt that they'll make an immediate impact in the game anyway. So we probably gonna roll with what we got at least for this week, even if we do make an addition of some sort. But we so thin, especially at cornerback, we might have to thrust whoever it is in the one of them positions. So we still remain to be seen. It's early in the week. Um, we'll learn more as the week progresses. But what does a victory look like for the birds?
Kind of like what everything that we talked about on defense. We need a pass rush bad. I think that's gonna make the difference in the game. However our defensive line is gonna be. Like I said, the same thing about the Giants game. That game, I said this game gonna be decided by the trenches. This game right here gonna be decided by the trenches. If we getting off with the offensive line and defensive line, to me that's the ball game on both sides of the ball because they definitely gonna be trying to bring pressure on Hurts, so we're gonna need our offensive line to get off from that aspect, and we're gonna need them to do a better job in the run game as well. We haven't been firing on all cylinders in the run game, so I think this game gonna be won by the trenches, in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Now, if you want to get a little bit more detailed, everything that I just said about Hurts, if he being smart with the ball, paying attention to what they trying to do on defense when they trying to bring pressure, where they trying to bring it from, getting it to his guys. I don't know what we're gonna be looking like at tight end. I know Calcaterra was hurt, then Dallas looked like he was a little banged up. I know he did play in the last game, but barely. I think he was at first I was thinking he wasn't even gonna play in that game, but then we got the other dude behind him. His name Grayson, whatever
Branson.
his name. So,
Branson.
yeah, so I don't know what we're gonna be doing at tight end, but um I just feel like the offense is gonna be kind of decided by, you know, really hurts. Like I said though, it's gonna be one in the trench. And if the offensive line have good play, more than likely Jay ain't gonna have good play. And then on the defensive side of the ball, um, even if Quinion do play, they got two good guys at wide receiver. So, like I said, to me, that's gonna be decided by how we affect the quarterback, basically. How we affect the quarterback. So that's to me, that's kind of what a W looking like. Now, as far as scoring wise, I don't care if it's I prefer for it not to be close, but I don't care if we win by 1 point or 21 points. We need to walk out of here with a W so we can get our keep our confidence and get our confidence up. So, because taking 3 L's in a row, all right, now the team started taking a morale hit after that. But if we can go ahead and get a W in this game, we'll definitely get off in that Giants game, and we'll be back with our mojo.
It's feeling like a Saquon game to me. At the beginning of the game last week, it seemed like we had kind of turned the corner a little bit. We come out the gate, two explosive type runs, one of them for 18 yards. So I think we can build upon that, especially out the gate. But I don't know, for whatever reason, this feel like a Saquon game to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that the impact player gonna be the offensive line, coupled with Saquon getting off, um, and returning back somewhere similar to where he left off last year. Defensively, uh, it's gonna be the corner, whatever. It's gonna be whoever the weakest corner is. We gonna be we gonna go as far as they're able to exploit the weakest part of the field, because that's what we already know for a fact. They're gonna put Justin Jefferson wherever the weak link is, whether that be um, a hurt Q, even if he out there, or a Dory Jackson, or unfortunately Ringo. So it's gonna come down to how well we cover up those deficiencies on the back end. Like you said, pass rush would be a tremendous help if we can find one within the next few days. But that'll be mine. I say that the cornerback two position, and then a Saquon game on offense. Um, Other than that, that's pretty much all that I can think of. We already flushed the game from last week against the Giants. It's really just all about, like you said, coming out with a win in this game. We need one bad. We really don't want to go 3 L's in a row. Hopefully we was able to at least start to implement some type of change, or at least get an understanding of how to move the ball offensively in this 10-day stretch that we got off, because we're going to need it this Sunday.
Hey, it all come down to going 1-0 each week. Everything we on is nothing. Is nothing to be thinking about late the next game for the no. This is a you got a 10-day opportunity. They tell you to go out here. You got 10 days to figure out how to go win one game.
Hmm.
That's all we got to do. Go out here and win one game. Till you got 10 days. This is what you're working with. You got 10 days to figure it out. So basically, that's why how I'm feeling about it. We got 10 days to figure out how to go beat the Vikings. And in a situation like that, I'm rolling with Nick.
Give me Nick, man. But yeah, that's really all we had for this one. Um, just a quick preview of the Vikings versus the Eagles. We don't really do score predictions, but we kind of gave you the blueprint of how we feel the game should go if we want to come out victorious and go into the week after that with a record of 5-2. And preferably, ultimately 6-2 going into the bye. But like you said, one week at a time. Um, I had something else to say. We'll be we'll be back Thursday. We got Thursday night football. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I think it might be the Steelers and the Bengals. Let me check that. We cover so many games, all of
I
them
feel
just
like you
blend up.
said the Steelers, but I don't know about the Bengals part. I remember you saying the Steelers though. I feel like the Bengals didn't play a Thursday night recently.
Uh, let's see, week 7. Yeah, it is Steelers and the Bengals.
Bengals.
Yeah, Steelers Bengals. So that's Joe Flacco versus Aaron Rodgers. uh, in Cincinnati. So we're gonna be, live here, Primetime Sports. So come through, check us out. We give you that play-by-play commentary and some of that good stuff you've been accustomed to for the past 6 weeks. So we continue in that. Obviously, Sunday we got a full slate of games again. We actually got a really good game at 9:30. The Rams play somebody, but I forget what that game is, but I think that's gonna be a good one as well. But we got all day football on Sunday. But we kicking off week 7 right here on Primetime Sports. So make sure that y'all like, Make sure that y'all keep commenting. Make sure you sharing out these lives. It's a tremendous help to the channel, and I appreciate all the support we've had so far. It's been a dope ride. It's been a dope experience. We've had a lot of fun over the past 6 weeks. There's a lot of streaming, a lot of people coming through showing love, and let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. But
Not dope. A ride, a vehicle. Nah.
but make sure y'all come through, see us on Thursday. We'll be right back here talking that talk about football. But until then, go Birds.
Go birds.